One got knocked down, he won't get up again. The other went knocked him down. One got knocked down, and now he's fucking dead. The other went knocked him out. Combo Breaker!
Evil magical beings of the sand. Ugh, I hate sand so much. It always gets in your shoes and your backpacks and ugh. Well, these two villains originate from the sands. Today we have a battle between Jafar, the world's most powerful sorcerer, and Imhotep, the mummy. Alright, and for the sake of my sanity and the ease of recording, I'm gonna call Imhotep the mummy for the entire thing. So, deal with it. Alright, the mummy was an ancient Egyptian priest. He murdered some people, used some dark magic, got mummified and cursed, and then he was brought back later. That's the quick and short of it because his story is really long and complicated. So being the mummy must have some pretty cool powers and equipment. And you'd be right. The mummy has sand physiology, meaning he can kind of phase through walls, kind of like that Danny Phantom guy, you know, the one who was eaten by Pac-Man on this show? Yeah. He can also manipulate sand and water, and he has multiple versions of immortality. He can't die by aging or by disease. He regenerates like ridiculous amounts, kind of like Deadpool. He's immune to all types of damage other than specific attacks or items or mystical items, and he's undead. Now that's pretty great in itself, but he can also crawl on walls like Spider-Man, and even place curses on people, and he can absorb other people's lives. He can also breathe insects, has telekinesis, and summons creatures, and he can hypnotize people. He can also use mind control by using the winds, and he also has multiple forms of magic such as necromancy, and can even move people's death dates further up or closer. He can also fly, manipulate matter, and even resurrect himself, and on top of that, he can summon more mummies out of the ground to attack. Now, he wields the Book of the Dead and a sword. He also wields the Spear of Aristus, the ceremonial golden dagger, and a double-edged axe. So with that hefty power set, the mummy must have some feats that show his ungodly monster power. And you'd be right for the most part. The mummy should be way stronger than his soldiers who can destroy cars just by stepping on them. And he should he's so strong that even when weakened, he could cause a solar eclipse. Now he's way faster than his slower soldiers who can outrun buses, but we don't know by how much faster. Despite his low durability with, guns being able to tear him to shreds, his regeneration allows him to come back almost immediately, and without a mystical weapon, there's no way to put him down for good. Not to mention, since he's undead, he doesn't have to eat, sleep, or drink ever, so he's got limitless stamina. The mummy is also incredibly smart, as he was a high priest and possessed immense knowledge of the mystic arts of Egypt. But, as magnificent as his power is, it doesn't mean he's invulnerable. His immortality and regeneration can be removed by mystical artifacts. Alright, Jafar was the advisor of a royal guy. You know, it's a whole Disney plot. All you need to know is he needed Aladdin to get the genie lamp, but Aladdin stole the lamp. He saved himself, hypnotizing the princess, whole thing. He eventually gets a hold of the genie lamp and becomes the world's most powerful sorcerer. But let's just go ahead and focus on him before Aladdin stopped him. So Jafar, with the help of the genie, became the world's most powerful sorcerer, as I said. And with that title, he gained some badass powers and strengths. Obviously, he has magic, and with his staff, he can control others via hypnosis. He can also shapeshift into multiple things, but his most iconic form is the giant snake that's made of freaking fire. Also, he can breathe fire, which is pretty awesome. He can also summon any object he wants and move it around with his telekinesis. Not to mention, he's also very resistant to fire in both snake and human form. Now, I'm not allowing his genie form, as this would require the help of genie, and that's not allowed, and there's no preparation, so he wouldn't know to do it beforehand either. I mean, not that's going to affect anything. He can't directly kill someone in the genie form, so this is more of a good thing for him. So, yeah. Jafar wields the snake staff, which is a magical staff that aids him in combat and works to enhance his magic. Now, on to Jafar's feats, and as the world's strongest sorcerer, he's done some pretty crazy feats. Now, physically, he's not that great. Yeah, you can keep up with Aladdin, but not for very long. But his magic is superior to other sorcerers like Mirage, who can create cities with ease, and he can launch entire castle towers with ease, all the way to the outskirts of city with just a single swing. And his physical power is boosted when he turns into a snake, as he can take out large structures in just a single hit. Now, Jafar is fast enough to attack the magic carpet during flight, and he's even faster when he's in his snake form, which is ridiculous amounts of speed. But if you get to Jafar in combat, he can't take a large bit of damage, such as the time when he was stabbed by Aladdin, that pretty much killed him. However, Jafar is a genius in manipulation, and he's also a political genius, as he was the advisor before he went all, psycho. But when it comes to planning out his moves in battle, he's quite amazing. Jafar really only has one weakness, and that's he's sometimes envious, and that's a bad attitude to have in a fight. Alright, which magic villain of the sands will come out on top? Jafar starts chanting as a tomb begins to rise from the ground. It finally opens and a mummy steps out. Jafar waves his staff at the mummy to hypnotize him. The mummy sends a sandstorm after Jafar, who looks confused that the hypnosis didn't work. Jafar encases the sandstorm in a large hourglass. The mummy pulls out a sword and slashes at Jafar, who summons a sword to block the attack. The sword floats in midair as Jafar and the mummy sword fight for a moment. The mummy then stumbles back and summons a large army of mummies. Jafar transforms into a large snake and then spins, knocking most of them to the ground. The army of mummies all run at Jafar again, who spins, leaving a large ring of fire melting the army and reducing them to ash. Jafar summons 24 swords that all float around the mummy, stabbing and flying into him and impaling him and slashing him from all directions. The blades land on the ground as the mummy starts to reform from the dust. The mummy pulls out his axe and swings at Jafar, who blocks with his staff. The mummy stabs his knife into Jafar. Jafar backs up and launches a blast from his staff at the mummy. The attack hits the mummy, who stumbles back, and Jafar starts to bleed intensely from his wounds. Jafar transforms back into his giant snake and breathes fire down at the mummy, turning him to ash. Jafar falls to the ground, alive but wounded. Our winner is Jafar, and you know what? This match is actually incredibly close, but not because of stats, not because of arsenals. It's for just a simple set of things. The reason this match is close is because the more likely scenario is Jafar is going to attack the mummy with any sort of his magic, which is theoretically mystical in the fact that it's linked to the Aladdin universe and the religion and everything in it, so it counts as mystical and can remove the mummy's immortalities, including his healing. So after that, all he really needs to do is any basic attack and he could kill him. The less likely scenario is that the mummy somehow catches Jafar off guard, who's faster and smarter and would know how to counter this, and lands a fatal blow on Jafar before he can remove the immortalities. So, because the mummy doesn't have the stats or abilities to keep up with Jafar, well, our winner's Jafar.
Next time on Combo Breaker.
Chuck Norris versus One Punch Man.